It was a calm Tuesday afternoon in the small town of Willowbrook, where nothing extraordinary ever happened. The biggest excitement was the weekly bingo night at the senior center, and even then, it was more about the cookies than the game. But this particular Tuesday was destined to go down in history as the day of the great couch caper. Our tale begins with Mr. Mortimer Wigglesworth, an eccentric retiree with a mustache that could rival a walrus and a wardrobe that was perpetually stuck in the 1970s. Mortimer lived in a tiny bungalow at the end of Maple Street, a quiet cul-de-sac where the most thrilling event was the arrival of the mail. Now, Mortimer had a problem. His beloved old couch, a massive, mustard-colored monstrosity that had been with him since his bachelor days, had finally given up the ghost. The springs were shot, the fabric was torn, and it emitted a smell that was a curious blend of old socks and stale popcorn. But Mortimer was nothing if not sentimental, and the thought of parting with his couch was unbearable. One fateful afternoon, as Mortimer sat on his couch, pondering its fate, he had an idea, a wonderfully ridiculous idea. He would not dispose of the couch. No, that would be too easy. Instead, he would give it a grand send-off, a final adventure that would be talked about for generations to come. He would take the couch on a road trip. Mortimer's plan was simple. He would strap the couch to the roof of his old station wagon, drive it to the next town over, and leave it in the middle of the town square as a surprise for the unsuspecting residents of Oakville. It was the perfect plan. What could possibly go wrong? With the determination of a man half his age, Mortimer set to work. He fetched a set of bungee cords from his garage, clambered onto the roof of his station wagon, and began the arduous task of hoisting the couch up. It was no easy feat. The couch was unwieldy and seemed to have a mind of its own. It took several attempts, a lot of grunting, and a few near-miss incidents where Mortimer almost tumbled off the roof. But eventually, the couch was secured. Mortimer stepped back to admire his handiwork. The couch perched atop the car looked utterly ridiculous, but in Mortimer's eyes, it was a thing of beauty. With a satisfied nod, he climbed into the driver's seat and set off on his grand adventure. As Mortimer drove through Willowbrook, heads turned, and jaws dropped. The sight of a man driving around with a mustard-colored couch strapped to his car was not something you saw every day. Mrs. Havisham nearly dropped her poodle. Mr. Jenkins, the postman, crashed his bicycle into a hedge, and little Timmy Watkins pointed and laughed so hard that he fell off his skateboard. Undeterred by the commotion, Mortimer drove on, feeling more alive than he had in years. He passed through the town limits and onto the open road, where he hit a small problem, literally. The couch, it turned out, was not as securely fastened as Mortimer had thought. With every bump in the road, it wobbled precariously, threatening to break free. Mortimer, oblivious to the danger, merrily hummed along to the oldies station on the radio, tapping his fingers on the steering wheel. But the couch had other plans. As Mortimer approached a particularly large pothole, the couch gave one final, mighty lurch, and with a tremendous whoosh, it flew off the roof and sailed through the air like a giant, mustard-colored UFO. Mortimer watched in horror as the couch soared gracefully over a field of cows, bounced off a haystack, and landed with a spectacular crash in the middle of a farmer's market in Oakville. People scattered in all directions as the couch skidded to a halt, knocking over a stand of homemade jams and sending jars flying like fruity grenades. For a moment, there was silence as everyone stared at the couch in disbelief. Then, out of nowhere, the entire market erupted in laughter. Even the cows seemed to be mooing in amusement. Mortimer, his heart racing, pulled over to the side of the road and leapt out of the car. He dashed over to the market, red-faced and out of breath. "I'm so sorry. It was an accident," Mortimer gasped. waving his arms apologetically. But the people of Oakville were too busy laughing to be angry. The mayor, a rotund man with a booming laugh, clapped Mortimer on the back and declared it the funniest thing to happen in Oakville in years. The couch, now covered in jam, became an instant legend. And so, Mortimer's great couch caper ended in a way he never could have imagined. His beloved couch was given a new home in Oakville's town hall, where it became a tourist attraction.
People came from miles around to see the famous flying couch, and Mortimer Wigglesworth became a local hero. As for Mortimer, he eventually got a new couch, a sensible, odor-free model. But every time he sat on it, he couldn't help but smile, remembering the day he sent his old couch off in style. And from that day forward, the town of Oakville had a new motto: expect the unexpected and watch out for flying furniture.